Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Hey, Gavin. Looks like you're having a good time today.
Guys, I'm starting this recording drunk. I'm so sorry.
You
Listen,
can't be as embarrassing as I was with the Horus Hour, guys.
I don't know. Here's the backstory, okay? Here's the backstory. My company provides one of the perks. We have what's called Flex Friday, which means you can take a Friday off as long as you work 40 hours in the week. So you basically work 4 10-hour days, right? And we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day coming up next Monday.
Yep.
And so I was like, great. And we went down as a family to go see my fiance's family in South Carolina. So I'm like, that's the move. And then immediately I got drunk. So here I am.
What a move.
What a move. And guess what? This is why I got drunk. You ready? Because it is, without a doubt, the Savannah Bee Company has the best in the world. No questions asked. Best mead, period. So I've got mead on the podcast today, and I've been drunk on mead. So here we go.
I thought you said you got so drunk because your favorite holiday is coming up.
Oh. Actually, if I'm being honest, out of all the holidays, Martin Luther King Jr. is the one that needs to be celebrated the most. When I think of people that holidays are celebrated for,
you mean we shouldn't be celebrating President's Day? God. What about Columbus Day?
Listen, this is my opinion. Out of all the presidents, some dude named Bob needs to be celebrated more.
All right. So this week we are reviewing Tallarn.
Tallarn.
We previewed last week. This should be a good one. We both enjoyed the book. Before we get into that, though, I'm drinking from Bloomington Brewing Company, the Kirkwood Cream Ale.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's pretty good. I'm a fan.
So I am drinking from... This is actually from Ohio. I did not know this. It's from Cleveland.
That's a place in Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. Bananas Foster mead. It is the best mead I've ever had in my life, and a mead that I've shared with you. And I'm very excited to drink more.
It's very good. Anyway, before we get too far into the book, our housekeeping things, as always, hit us up on the Discord. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. That we post all of our podcast episodes over there. Head over there, like, subscribe. That is also at the Heresy Lodge. If you ever feel like contributing to the podcast, we have tips enabled. Also, we have merch. Feel free to buy something. They're nice.
Don, I'm so upset. Can I talk to you about why I'm upset today?
Tell me why you're upset today, sir.
Because literally 9 out of 10 podcasts, you're way more drunk than I am. And here I am today.
I've been seeing drunk Gavin in a long while.
And here I am. I'm here. I tried to start some heresy in the Discord today. So if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, I was trying to start some shit. And I was ready to have my own Imperium going on. We were ready to go.
I was ready to join you.
We had a lot. I was really convincing people with the butt plug argument.
That's all it takes for our Discord.
Like, there's going to be butt plugs every day, and people were on board.
I'm like, I've already lathered myself in oil. Bring them to me. Where's the magnets?
So you have finally finished Tallarn.
I did.
I'm almost. Can I tell you the truth?
Yes.
I'm almost done with Runestorm.
Well, it's only 300 fucking pages, so I hope so.
I know. It's okay. I'm not gonna lie. But how did you feel about Tallarn? Don't give me like deep dive right now. We're gonna go into it. But how'd you feel about it?
I really, really like the characters in Tallarn.
Yep.
The story itself, kind of meh.
Yeah, I agree. John French is a great character writer, but I think he falls short in shit that matters story-wise.
Yes.
Did you get what I was saying in the preview? Where like he asked himself the question halfway through writing, and he didn't really answer it super well.
No, because the whole time I was thinking, I was like, okay, if there's this like secret like Eldar weapon on this planet,
Yeah.
why the fuck isn't it more protected? Like,
Yeah.
why did they just leave like I don't know, like a few thousand soldiers?
Mhm.
Like, if it's this like super powerful weapon,
It's just in a cave.
like at least on Malek, we had fucking like a group of blood angels there. There was an ultramarine, and there was a fuck ton of other like soldiers too, I guess. But at
A
least there was fucking
perpetual.
space marines. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
perpetual.
Yeah. So like my concept is like, even when they got there, when they got into the cave, what even was it? That was my biggest problem.
So when he first like said the name of it, I thought it was like a sword or something, and then it
Yeah.
was a Porto Rambo ghost talking. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It was so weird. And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with this book. If they would have done better with that, I think this would have been a phenomenal book because there are scenes in it. And what I love about this book is it's an Iron Warriors book with very few Iron Warriors.
It's an Alpha Legion book.
It kind of is an Alpha Legion book. And John French struck again.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
really did.
he's like, I'm going to make Praetorian Adorn. Guess what? It's an Alpha Legion book.
He writes Alpha Legion very well, though.
He does, and I love the way he writes Alpha Legion. The way he writes Alpha Legion makes it seem like they're the shit.
The only thing I really did not like character wise was the assassin because she was super
What?
fucking OP. Like her character was cool.
The emphasis?
Yeah, she was way too
Infosite?
OP.
She was.
Killed fucking space marines
Oh no, I get that.
and
That's
a
true.
fucking like
It would have
closed
been
in space.
Yeah, it would have been
with
way
grenades
cooler.
and flamers.
Would have been way cooler if she killed Space Marines with like data. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that would have made sense.
Yeah. Because like the infosite stuff that we got in Nemesis was like they're weak as shit in person.
They're just super fucking nerds.
But they have the data. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's dig into it. Let's start at the beginning. All right. So as we discussed previously, Tallarn is technically like the most, when we get into technically, like we really have to dig hard into the technically definition, a short story book, right? When I say technically.
Drink every time we say technically? Question mark.
Is this like a Vulcan Live situation? But in reality, it is four short stories. Yep. One's like 2 pages. 2 are like 30 pages, and 1 is like 300 and something pages. Literally as long as Ruinstorm is. I go to the next book, and it's literally as long as the next novel. So this book is ironclad, but we do get a couple short stories going into it.
Yeah. So the first one is the opening of the Family Man? Or was that the second one?
No, so the first one is the person walking in a Titan's, like they're in a Titan's cockpit and they're seeing the wastelands of all the aftermath of the battle. So the book opens up with like a year and a half after the opening of Tallarn. And you get the point of view of essentially what is the second in command of Tallarn, which you never get later on in the book.
Yeah.
And that person's like, oh, this is the cost of victory. And you just see a bunch of tanks sitting outside.
Yeah.
That's the opening, like 2 pages.
Yeah. Then we get into the other one. We actually get introduced to several different human characters.
My favorite story of Tallarn.
Yeah, I agree. It was my favorite one too.
The opening one.
Yeah, so it opens. I'm trying to remember how this one opens up. Is this the one where the start with? Oh yeah, the like commander of the tank like fucking falls off the tank, and they like make fun of her, and she's all pissed off about it.
Sorry, I was hoping it's some more meat. Yeah, so the opening is a little obscure to me because you kind of go through the various tank commanders. You have one tank commander who's very loose with her regime and they're just kind of messing around downtown. And you have one tank commander who's actually my favorite character in this entire book.
Cord?
Is it Cord?
I think so.
Is it the guy who's like he's running like a gang, essentially?
I'm pretty sure that one might not be Cord. Maybe Cord just came up later. But yeah, I like the fuck out of that guy. He was a fucking like a fuck, what the hell do they call them? He sells like weapons and shit. And not an armsman.
Dealer? Arms dealer?
Maybe it's just arms dealer, yeah.
Well, he's the guy. No, so what he does is like he is an Imperial Guardsman who's been in Tallarn for a long time. So if you guys don't have any backstory to the concept of the world of Tallarn, it's basically a world that has been forgotten by not only the heresy, but also the crusade in general. So there are people that are living there as Imperial soldiers, but they also they've been forgotten about.
Yeah,
like
they don't do anything.
Yeah, they've got like tons of tanks, but they're just sitting there waiting for years, like 10, 15 years.
Yep.
And so this guy has kind of he's been like stuck there for like 10 years. And he's created his own underground dealer of loaning out money, loaning out weapons, loaning out drugs, but people owe him money. And the way we get introduced to him is somebody owes him like $50.
He fucks them up.
He fucking kills them.
It's like, you fucked up.
The things that this guy says though is literally like John French did such a good job displaying what I think a regular Imperial soldier would think, right?
Yeah.
Because throughout the book at the beginning, he's like, what are we even fighting for? And they're like, we're fighting for the Emperor. He's like, I don't give a fuck about the Emperor, like I'm just here to fucking survive. Like I don't even give a shit about any of this higher calling. And he almost gets shot for saying that, but he does it because he's good at his job.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find his name. Oh, it might be Brell.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. So this story is really great because basically what it is they're locked inside this underground fortress and they want to identify who the enemy is. So they send out some tank commanders, including Braille, and including, I can't remember her name. She's another tank commander.
It's a weird name.
Yeah. So she's in charge of the whole group, but Braille is really in charge.
Yes. And then there's a scout named Akil.
Oh, this was such a good fucking story. I loved this story.
Yeah, so just like a quick background of Akil is he's like a family man, and before the bombs came down, he is walking around with this data slate. He walks up on this guy like attacking this old man, and he stops them, and the old man steals his fucking data slate. He's like, well, fuck.
Yeah,
and
he tries to like
that happened. What were your thoughts?
Well, I'm like, okay, this old man is like clearly some sort of espionage situation. So what's important to know
about Akil though?
Who?
The character, Akil.
No.
Oh, dude, as soon as this happened, I was like, this motherfucker's Alpha Legion.
Really?
Yeah, because who the fuck's walking around with important data slate on this random fucking planet?
Yo, badass.
Is that concerned about it being stolen? Like, this motherfucker's Alpha Legion.
Well, so this is what I thought initially was.
And he was really good at fighting.
Yeah, Akil is a person that is a planetary governor or almost at that level. Like, he's like high up there in the government, right? He got his data state stolen, but at the beginning, I'm so drunk. But at the beginning of the story, it reveals like his main priority is his kids. So I didn't think Alpha Legion at all. Like, kudos to you, dude.
As soon as he like was swinging around his knife and like almost killing two guys, and is all concerned about this data set, like, this dude, he's sketchy. This is Alpha Legion.
Dude. John French writes Alpha Legion so well. He is so good at Alpha Legion because it's not in your face. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is an Alpha Legion mission. It's like you're reading a story. It's exactly what we talked about, where it's like, imagine a story and then you write Alfarius into the into the cast list. John French is like, here's a story about a guy, but also Alpha Legion. And you're like, oh my God, what?
Which one is it?
He does
And
such a good job.
everyone's doing sketchy shit, so you're like, I don't
Everyone.
know.
It's almost like, and this is a TV show recommendation. I haven't recommended it to you, but if you haven't watched it, you should. It's like White Lotus. You ever seen White Lotus?
I haven't. I've heard
You,
things about it.
you got to watch it. It's good. It's real quick. You don't have to invest a lot of time. But it's the concept of it is like each series or each season is a separate cast, right? And one person dies, and they tell you that in the beginning. And so the whole like series are trying to figure out who's gonna die. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so when they reveal Alpha Legion, I'm like, who is it? Who is it? It gives me the same feelings. Like I'm trying to like speculate and think. And John French does that so much better than almost every Alpha Legion book out there. John French is the Alpha Legion coordinator.
You did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
We have some good Alpha Legion books though. Like Legion's super good.
Legion is phenomenal.
I like Deliverance Lost.
Yeah. And that's really supposed to be a Raven Guard book, and that's written by who's Gav Thorpe. Gav Thorpe does a phenomenal job. Gav Thorpe's super underrated.
I think it's just Graham that can't do Alpha Legion.
Graham is the only one.
It's like, damn it, Graham, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
And Ferris comes out and's like, nah, I won't kill you. Never mind. Fucking with you.
Like I think Alpha Legion is one of the coolest regions to read about because they can do anything with it. But the trick is to not do everything with it, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I think John French really totes that line very well.
Yeah. So going back to the story. So Kill is one of the scouts. So they're in like a smaller tank or running around in front of everyone else, which sounds fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
So I'm trying to think what happens on the first mission.
They try to identify the enemy and they get lost. The scout tank gets separated from the other tanks.
Yeah.
And basically what occurs is they get into a firefight with the Iron Warriors, and the Braille, is it Braille? We're going to call him Braille, the badass. Braille the badass. He basically wins the entire tank fight for them.
Yeah, he just does like some shit. Like he turns off his fucking like core things, like the people can't see like it's him.
Do you understand?
The other ship's just dying, and he's just like, "No, I'll get there when it's time."
Yeah. Do you understand though? Like what I'm saying, like John French. Like so, when this book came up, I was so concerned because I know it was going to be tank battles.
Yeah.
And I was really concerned because I thought about Titan battles. I thought about night battles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But John French writes tank battles so well.
I really do think it's because like
you feel claustrophobic.
Well, but we also know how big a tank is. It like conceptually makes sense in our brains.
And what I like is the idea is like
I'm like, I don't know.
In Tallarn, the air is poison. You can't get out. Like that is literally it. So you think about it as the size of a tank, and you're like, that's where you are with 4 other people for hours,
days.
Yeah, it gives you like it makes you. It's almost like watching Jaws. You're in the ocean, right, and you're just waiting for the shark to come out, and you hear the music like they're driving around. They're like, I may have picked something up on my radar. And all of a sudden you're like, donna, donna, donna. Like it just drives my anxiety up. And I love the way John French did it in this first book.
Yeah, I agree. So going through, they have this firefight. Brell ends up winning it. They get back, and the one lieutenant is pissed off at Brell because they almost died. So she's mad. And also one of her gunners was really fucking like trigger happy and almost fucking blew up the scout ship.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a fuckface. And like the whole time, like everyone talks about how annoyed he is. So just keep that in your mind. So they get back and she drinks with Brell for a minute and then leaves him and finds a kill.
Well, what a great conversation, though. I really do think we need to hone in on that conversation when she's drinking with Brell, you know. It reminds me, and we have had very few conversations like this since Carcassy,
Yeah.
where he just says, "What the fuck is the Imperium? What the
Yeah.
fuck is the Emperor?" He's like, "I'm here because I'm literally born to be in battle, but there's no other reason. I don't feel patriotic, you
Yeah.
know?
And I mean, he has a point, right? He was fucking
It's
left here.
such a
Like
good
he was like actually like pretty like well regarded.
point.
Was like expecting a promotion and was just left on Tallarn and was
Mhm.
no one ever came back. He's like, all right, well, fuck. Then he started running a mafia. So like, of course he doesn't give a shit about like the Imperium dreams. At this point, he's just like,
Yeah.
I just want to fucking live.
And this is what I love about this book in particular, because I think it really highlights what about 99% of the Imperium is thinking.
Yeah, and
Most
I
of
mean,
the
if you think about it,
humans,
that's probably like even like today, like most people probably don't give like too many shits about being like actually patriotic for their country.
yeah, it's like, oh, who's president? Oh, it sucks that my guy lost, but like, I'm not going to go to fucking war the next day over it. You know what
No,
I
like
mean?
we will never see like at least like in like most first world countries, you're never gonna see like a civil war like that.
Yeah. And what I love about it is you get the point of view of people that are just like, I'm just trying to fucking live.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just trying
because
to make
they
another
can't
stay.
just like turn sides.
Yeah.
They can't even fucking go outside. So it's like, well, I either go out and die out there killing something, or I stay in here and I
Yeah.
die.
And
So
yeah. And Braille has a good point. He's like, whose side are we on? And they're like, oh, the Emperor's. He's like, why?
well, he was also like, how do we know it's not the Emperor that's attacking us right now?
Yeah. He's like,
Because
we literally have no fucking idea.
they didn't
And
know it was the Iron Wars. They also don't know who's on whose side, I don't think.
yeah, exactly. So he's literally like, we are literally just fighting to fight. So who fucking knows? And that's what I think a majority of the Imperium is feeling. They're just
Yeah.
like, I'm just
It
here
blows my mind that
going
like
with it.
other like legionaries that came down at other points as reinforcements, but like how the fuck did they even be like, oh yeah, these guys are definitely the good guys.
Oh, the
They
Dark Angels. The
oh
Dark
fuck.
Angels, they're the good guys.
So like it doesn't because like they had no idea who the fuck virus
No
bombed
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Zero. So at that point, like I wouldn't trust any fucking legionnaire,
Yeah.
any fucking legion, Imperium, not Imperium. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be like, anything that touches this planet, I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to blow up.
That's what I love about this book so much, because I kind of get that idea from it from the beginning, as they're just kind of like, we're here to defend our planet that's not a planet anymore. So we're just gonna. And John French was like, okay. He took a step back. He was like, wait a minute, guys, let's get out of this fucking crazy story. Imagine that you were a dude on some planet that just so happened to be bombed randomly from some legion for
I
an
still
unknown
can't get over it
cause.
being virus bombed.
I don't understand why. And we'll talk about that in a second, because it doesn't make any sense why it was
Zero.
virus bombed. The virus bombing is the dumbest thing Puerto Rico has ever done.
Ever.
Blows my mind today. So
Yeah.
anyway, the end of this story basically ends up in the fact that they continue to do tank runs, they continue to do discoveries. But what you find out is, in the final push, in the final battle, the main character.
Hold on, before we get that, I really want to talk about Brell's death because I thought it was really cool.
Oh yeah, Brell's death. That's important.
So they went out again at some point, and or it was I think yeah, it was something happened to Brell's tank, like the wheel was like
His
messed up.
track gets a little messed up, so they have to go very slow.
Yeah, and at one point, like they stop, and they're like, "What the fuck's that noise?" And everyone's like, "We don't hear anything." Which, at my first thoughts, like, oh,
It's a Titan.
afterwards, it's
It's
like,
definitely
how
a
do you
Titan.
not like? Isn't the ground shaking?
It's a Titan.
Yeah, this
Like, come
fucking
on.
giant Titan pops around the fucking corner, which oh yeah, this thing the size of a skyscraper, it just peeked around the corner, guys.
Allegedly,
Yeah,
according to Graham.
we couldn't hear that for 25 miles, but now it's in front of us.
Mhm.
I know the ground's been shaking, but I thought that was just the tank.
Just some blow
So
up
bro's
stuff.
like, well, you guys better fucking bounce because like we aren't gonna make it. And he just distracts them, and then that's it.
Literally one of the best character deaths that has been read in the Horus Heresy.
It was heroic, but at the same time, it was like, well, like I'm literally gonna die no matter what. Like he just accepted his fate.
This is what's weird about it. I was invested in his character.
Yeah, very much so.
He literally 25
He was
pages.
leading the entire thing because everyone was pages. So stupid.
Yeah, 25 pages. That's all it took to be invested in a character. John French literally was like, I'm gonna make you fall in love with this guy that you should hate in the beginning. That's what's incredible. He killed a guy for owing him like $50.
Yeah.
And then like 10 pages later, you were like, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was great. And even like the people in the tank with him was cool.
Yeah. And then 20 pages later, he dies, and you're like, wow. Wow. I got tingles for the first time in a while. I got tingles from his death.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to talk about before we go into the final battle is Akil meets up with Jalen, who we find out is a Alpha Legion plant.
Which is fucking crazy.
He has the craziest fucking tattoo.
Yeah, it changes as he moves, which is cool.
That's fucking crazy.
It's really cool. Yeah.
But this is the part that blew my mind, is during this, we found out that the Alpha Legion had a plan to take over the whole fucking like government. Like they had it. Like,
I love it.
Ready to win. Like
I love it.
Done.
What an Alpha Legion, dude! John French, fucking Alpha Legion extraordinaire. What an idea! Think about this. He wrote a book that was like, okay, what if the Alpha Legion already won, but then another Legion comes in to do something else? And that's so that has to happen all the time with the Alpha Legion.
You know what I mean? Damn it, guys!
Like we've won the Horus Heresy. You guys keep fucking us up.
It's kind of like, and I mean, it kind of happens at Praetorian of Dorn.
Yeah,
they literally come in and win the whole battle, and Dorn's all pissed off at them. Like, dude, it took us like 10 minutes to kill the top 20 advisors, and that's it. That's all we did. We killed 20 people. And this is it.
Dude, John French does the Alpha Legion. He makes the Alpha Legion look OP as fuck, and you know what? They fucking are. Like
they are.
They are. Like I really like when we talk about the GOAT. I know that Horace Howard did like a vote on the MVP of the year or something like that, right?
Yep.
When we talk about the GOAT,
books that they read. Yeah.
Yeah. When we talk about the GOAT of the Horus Heresy, it really is divided in my mind between Conrad Kurz and the Alpha Legion and maybe Porter Rabo. Porter Rabo is kind of badass.
But he hasn't.
He really hasn't.
Of our last year, he definitely didn't like do much for us other than, well, beat the shit out of Fulgrim one time, then watch Fulgrim shove shards up his ass.
Yeah. I think it really does come down to Conrad Kurz and the Alpha Legion. And what's nuts about it is you think about it from the point of view of Horus. He's like, who are my assets? Oh, it's definitely Lorgar. Oh, it's definitely fucking Angron, right? No, they're worthless as shit. You have Conrad Kurz, the Night Hunter, who's like, no one can fucking do anything with him. And Alpha Legion, who fucking knows about those guys, right? They're winning the war for this guy.
They already won.
Yeah, the Emperor's Children, dog shit.
They were the first ones to get to Terra. It was like 10 of them.
Alpha Legion was like, I'll show you how this is done. Here's 100 people.
I mean, imagine if they just went after the Emperor instead of like fucking around with Dorn. Like they could have at least gotten close to him.
It was nuts. I think, yeah, John French like really does the Alpha Legion like really well. Dan Abnett and Legion 2, like I thought that was a great introduction. And John French ran with it. It's like John French read out Legion and was like, I can do shit with this. And he did it.
Yeah, it's very Mission Impossible. I love it.
Really good time.
Yeah. So now let's talk the final battle. They're going in, they're defending. This is the Silent City, right?
Sapphire City.
The Sapphire City.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm the drunk one. I remember that.
They all fucking blend together, all the names. Anyway, the group of our characters are set to watch the middle of the city, right?
Middle, south, one of the two.
Yeah, and Jalen had given him an order. It's like, look,
there's a blackmail order.
Yeah, it's like if you hear this command, let this guys through.
Or else we'll kill your daughters. That was the specific thing. So the Alpha Legion had the main character's daughter hostage, which was fucking a huge reveal, by the way.
Yep.
Like this entire time you were following this character that was a human and you were like, this guy's a good guy. And then the last like 10 pages, you were like, holy fuck, he's an Alpha Legion person. Like so like a crazy reveal. Really well done.
Unless you're me who figured it out the first time.
But then even then, it's like, oh, okay, this guy's still like out to help the people. But then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
we have your children captive.
I mean, it's interesting though, right? Because he thought his family was dead, and then you find out that they're alive.
Bet you they are
hostage.
I bet you they are dead.
They probably are. So, I mean, what do you do in that circumstance, right? Like you, do you go through it? Like, do you kill these two people to see your family that you thought was dead?
Yeah, basically,
I mean, the
Alpha
chances
Legion,
of you dying is probably like 95%, like no matter what.
Yeah, the Alpha Legion ordered him to allow the traders into the tank line.
Yep.
And the question, this is what's nuts. Did he?
Yeah.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
So the way the story ended was he killed the gunner in his tank.
Yep.
And he was about to aim at the other tank, right?
Yep.
And then the very last line, very last like paragraph was Alpha Legionnaires talking, and they were like, how many? We didn't actually see him shoot the other tank. And so, because he was debating it. And the very last paragraph we got was the Alpha Legionnaires saying, hey, how many of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Agents in the field completed their task. And they were like 8 out of 10. And the other 2 died. Did he? That's what I love about it. Is you'll never actually fully know.
I mean, they got into the tank line. So
I mean, he killed his gunner regardless.
Yes.
So did he work in the Alpha Legion's favor? Absolutely. Did it matter? I honestly don't think so. Iron Warriors are Iron Warriors, man. I don't think the Alpha Legion being there really fucking mattered. But it's a cool little story.
Yeah, I agree.
Second story, I don't even fucking remember. What was the second story? Oh, it's about the mind guy, astropath.
Yeah. So there's
one Imperial Fist.
Yeah, the one Imperial Fist. This is a group of people. They're all like government
high up.
Yeah, but they aren't like soldiers. They're just like fucking.
They're ex-military
senators. Not all of them.
Well, the main guy, the main guy in charge,
but he was there because he was like going to jail.
What?
Yeah, he was going to prison. He was in trial.
Oh no! I'm talking like the main head dude.
Oh, the old motherfucker.
Yeah, the dude in charge of the planet was like an ex. The dude in charge of Tallarn was like an ex-military dude that was like in the line of duty for years, and they were like, you know what? Here's a planet. He was like 60 by the time they handed it over to him, and he was like, all right, I die here.
Yeah, so comments come down, a bunch of people go into the underground tunnel, and then they're shut off from the world. They don't know what the fuck's happening. And then we have our main character who's like, look, we got that scooter. Let's like go out there and like see what's up.
Yeah. What's important about this is basically this main character. Don't remember his name. Really cool story by this guy. Really like this guy as a character. He literally was brought into the capital for tax evasion.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Don't blame him at all.
Not at all. So this guy ends up in a bunker with a few high-end officials from the government, but also an astropath who's going insane.
He's like comatose at this point.
Yeah. So this guy's like ex-military, and he's realizing that there's no other option than to take the one tank they have out extreme distances and broadcast from there for help.
Yep.
That's half the story.
Yeah. And as he's doing so, for the longest fucking time, of course, they get no response. And then
It's so
finally,
good. It's so well written, though.
it is.
Honestly, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
Are they
I
gonna?
agree. It's very well written. I mean, like they're like stranded. Like if something happens, like they literally just die. Like if they run out
Yeah,
of power, gas, they're dead.
yeah. They're like, we can't make it back, but I want to make sure we send one last communication. And I'm literally sitting there like, please, for the love of God, please, like, accept the communication. And finally it happens, and it's a relief. Did I know it was going to happen? Yeah, but it was still a good
It would have
feeling.
been a way better story if it didn't.
It would have been really cool, honestly. That's honest. That is my biggest critique about the horse heresy so far. Is it always meets expectations.
Yeah, yeah. So of course the message that gets out is like, hey, we need help. But also, guys, just so you're aware, we have an astropath.
Yeah.
And then the Imperial Fist's like, oh shit, we got to find those guys.
The one Imperial Fist.
Yeah, the one and only.
Yeah. So he goes out. He murders like 17 Iron Warriors.
Yeah, because also this fucking happened. So they're in the bunker, and the guy's like, oh my God, I didn't even think about somebody else hearing the communication.
We've been sending out an SOS and the enemy might be there. But I think that leads very well into the third story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because, yeah, we'll talk about it in a second.
So the Imperial Fist comes. There's a big battle between the Iron Hands and the Imperial Fist. And it's like
All right.
20 soldiers.
Imperial Fist, Iron Warriors.
Iron Warriors. The Imperial Fist gets inside, and our main character like grabs a gun, takes him to the astropath. They get a message sent, and then they just fucking fight to the death.
Yeah. So
it was cool.
The end of the story, the astropath gets a message out, and a few ships arrive. Right. Yep. And that's how we get into Ironclad, which is the majority of the story. I want to talk about a few key points of Ironclad.
Okay.
The entire premise of Ironclad to me is why, right? Like, okay, so the Iron Warriors show up, they virus bomb a planet, and then they stay there for a year. Why? And it blows my mind that some like random Imperial guardsman was like the first person to think about this.
For real. He's like staring at maps. It's like the fucking like Call of Duty, like Basin, the numbers.
What do they mean? He's like, why is this happening? Now, in actual reality, though, the reason why the reason Puerto Rava did it was badass as fuck. It makes me it makes me respect Puerto Rava dearly, and I can't wait to talk to you about this in just a minute. But there are a couple other things I want to talk about the story that blow my mind. So we do find out that the reason why is because there is some sort of Eldar weapon hidden on the planet of Tallarn.
Yep.
And we talked about in the preview how at the end of every chapter, we get like a synopsis of how the war is occurring on Tallarn, right?
Yep.
Tell me if you were very confused in this situation, because I guarantee you were. And one of those like synopsi,
sure,
it talks about how like a fleet shows up that were rogue traders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this girl who's in charge of the rogue traders is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna blow up some ships. What she did?
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what the fuck that was.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was like halfway through the story, this girl shows up with like a shitload of ships. And is like, I'm gonna blow up that ship, that ship, that ship, and then bounce. Like,
that's the way to do it, right?
Right. She blew up like 10 ships and just left.
That's the Raven Guard special right there.
It's like, what is happening? Like, she impacted the story, but didn't.
Yeah, I don't know why that was there.
This was the weakest part of the story to me, because it felt like John French was like, and all the Iron Warriors showed up, But he was like, fuck, I need to give like a reason why the random loyalist forces could fight them in space.
I also don't get like why they even keep showing up. Like how
Iron
many
Warriors?
no, not the Iron Wars.
The loyalists.
Like how many
right?
other planets are being under attack that's probably fucking closer? How are they
Yeah.
more concerned about what the fuck's happening in the soul system than whatever the fuck is happening wherever Tallarn is?
I'll tell you how this book could have been 10% better. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Put this on
If
Mars.
that's if no. If the astropath about requesting help didn't ever happen, and the end of that story was literally just an astropath on an Iron Warrior's ship, where part of Rob was like, "Yeah, I'll tell him to come." Wouldn't that be more badass?
It would be, but like it made no sense. Like why? Like they just
All
kept
these
showing up, and it
random
was just like
loyalists
it
out of
was like
nowhere.
very tiny groups, and also like they had zero impact. Like at one point we saw
Like
White
Titan
Scar.
Legios.
What the fuck did the White Scar do?
Yeah, didn't even like talk about them. And we would have like Titan Legios. They'd be like, yeah, they walked around the southern hemisphere. That's all they said.
Launched all the Titans. Okay.
I was like, why? Shouldn't they send the Titan Legios to Terra? Like that's where I'd be trying to go.
Way more concerned about.
Way more important. So I think it's really weird that this was a battle that even happened. But I do want to talk about the reason why Puerto Rabo came to Tallarn and why I think it is so badass. Gives me way more respect to Puerto Rabo. But the end of the story lessened my respect for Puerto Rabo. You ready for this?
Ready. Yep.
So it's very clear.
Very
clear. Puerto Rabo just witnessed Fulgrim summon shards up his ass. and Puerto Rabo was like, that shit's fucking weird. He saw the Emperor's children. He saw the Emperor's children. He goes, you know what? I'm going to go into this black hole. And then they end up at this planet, and Puerto Rabo realizes there's a weapon that they could utilize.
Did they end up at it, or did he go to it?
No, they go to it. So they end up near the planet, and Puerto Rabo's like, let's go to Tallarn.
How does he know that it's there?
Because it does talk about in the book, if you remember the guides from Angel Exterminatus, the guides were the
that was a book I read.
Yeah, not all the way. The only one he didn't finish. The guides were the one that said, hey, let's go to this planet because it has an ancient Eldar weapon.
How was that never ever found?
I don't fucking
dug a
know,
hole
man.
in the middle of a storm. Was the
I
storm
agree.
there the whole
Listen,
time?
I agree. The whole concept behind the Eldar weapon is bullshit. But what I want to focus on is how badass Puerto Rabo is. Because you know why Puerto Rabo wanted that weapon?
Because he didn't want to do chaos bullshit.
It was because he didn't want to do chaos. It was so cool. Literally, he went to Horus, because Horus does show up later. And he goes, listen, I know we can beat a bitch-ass emperor, but I also know that bitch-ass snake man has pledged himself to this thing. And I've got a feeling that we've got a few other bitch-ass brothers that pledged themselves to other things.
The most fucked up thing about all that is Horus demanding him to kneel.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. And that is why Puerto Rabo is my favorite. Maybe Conrad. Those two are my favorite. Because Puerto Rabo goes, I'm going to kneel to Horus because he's fucking Horus, you know? But Puerto Rabo at the end of the day is like, I don't want to be a slave to darkness. I don't want to be a slave to the chaos. He literally went to Tallarn for a weapon, not to fight the Emperor, to fight chaos after they win. Puerto Rabo was the only fucking Primarch, the only fucking dude that said, hey, what about after?
That's fair.
Dude, the dude was fucking thinking about it. He was a genius. He said, I understand that we are trading one emperor for another, and the weapons I'm obtaining now are not for next week. It's for next year. And no one thought about that. including Horus, who is a bitch ass motherfucker.
He's
Porter
also
Rabo,
confused in chaos right now too.
yeah, Porter Rabo was 17 moves ahead of everyone. He was. Porter Rabo was
And
like,
there's the
I
Emperor,
know
like, I
what's happening.
fucking told all you guys.
Yeah. I think the Emperor and Porter Rabo are one of a kind, man. I really do. I think Porter Rabo, in my opinion, is the exact antithesis of the Emperor, which is not a bad thing, but also not a good thing. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he hated the hypocrisy that the Emperor protruded throughout his entire domain.
Yeah.
But he also looked like Zeno's powers to overthrow it. I don't know. I just think Porter Rabo had an idea. He was the dude that betrayed the Emperor to legitimately betray the Emperor, not for chaos shit, not for any of that. He was like, I've got a fucking plan. I've got a plan for the Imperium. I know what should come next. And he fucking laid it out. And this book was the book that said, this is why he can't do it, because Horus made him his bitch. And I hated that scene, but I also loved it.
Hear me out. Porter Rabo for War Master.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, yes. This is it. Listen, everyone said what Sanguinius. Could it have been Gilliman? Fucking Porter Rabo would have been the best choice War Master. I will submit that to the day's end. I don't give a fuck. I'll go.
He may not get along with everyone, but damn, he has some good ideas.
He's got some great ideas, and he's efficient as fuck.
Yeah, that's the word that matters.
He's smart as hell too, man. Porter Rabo is fucking genius. The fact that he literally went to Tallarn not to fix the battle with the Emperor, but to fix the battle after, fucking wild.
Yeah.
And he was right. Horus made him kneel, but Horus was already a bitch. Horus was a bitch and made Porter Rabo his bitch. Porter Rabo's a bitch of a bitch. And Horus was already a bitch. God damn. And Porter Rabo knew that. He was like, I'm trying. Porter Rabo was like, I don't want to be a bitch of a bitch. And then Horus made him a bitch of a bitch. That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Anyway, I want to talk about the assassin.
Oh, okay.
So we haven't talked about much about the story. So quick synopsis on what's happening during these fucking rants.
I'm like drunk ranting right now. My bad.
So there is another group of tank commanders, and
where are you going with this? Where are you going with this? Let's do the assassin.
There's an assassin.
Infocyte.
There's Alpha Legion, and there's Argonis, who is a Luna Wolf.
He's a Luna Wolf. He's the herald.
Sorry, son of Horus.
Yes, he's the herald of the War Master. So he's essentially an emissary.
Yeah.
He's basically sent there. This is the whole fucking thing. This is the crux of the story, right? He goes there, and Horus is like, yo, why the fuck is Porter Rabo spending a year and a half at Tallarn? And then some random tank commander on Tallarn is like, yo, why the fuck is Porter Rabo spending a year and a half at Tallarn? That's actually the story. So you have both sides investigating Porter Rabo's hiding. We just talked about the fact that he's trying to find an Eldar weapon to fight chaos, not the Emperor, but chaos after the Emperor, which is OG as shit. But yeah, we also have a little side story between the fact that the Alpha Legion apparently already knows this weapon exists.
Yep.
And an infocyte assassin, which, by the way, is the coolest of all the assassins, in my opinion. The assassin that makes the most sense in my mind in the 40K universe.
I don't know. I really like the fucking Berserker ones.
Oh, yeah.
Blow them up after they die. They're fucking sick.
Eversor assassins are awesome. Infocytes make the most sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
When you're talking about years and years in the future. And John French, I think, just agreed with that. He was like, yeah, let's fucking roll with it.
Yeah, but he went too far. So
I agree. I actually agree with you. I think Infocyte in this book was a little too OP.
Yeah, so this Infocyte is trying to figure out what the fuck the Alpha Legion's doing. He wants to take on the Alpha Legion. So at one point,
which fair enough.
Yeah, at one point she infiltrates the fucking Iron Warriors like base,
main base. Yeah,
and she's like fucking crawling around the fucking like AC. through the ducts,
Yeah.
and she's just like hacking everything. And she has these fucking flies all over the place that she can
Net
see out
flies.
of. Yeah.
So cool. Cool concept.
Yeah. And then there's at one point she's just literally sitting there. And she gets attacked by fucking Alpha Legionaries. She escapes, kills one.
Legionaries. We're talking
Yeah.
about superhumans.
Yeah. Is running away from them, kills one of them, drops a bunch of grenades on another group of them, and just
Yeah.
kills a bunch of fucking Alpha Legionnaires. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
If we remember the last time we had any sort of hint of an infocyte, okay?
The dude that never even held a fucking gun.
And Nemesis, yeah. And
Yeah.
we're talking like if we go back to it all, they literally, this is a fucking storyline, guys. They had to have a gun that aligned with the planetary orbit of the sun to kill a fake imposter of Horus who was just the Legionnaire. Okay. Then they dropped an Eversor assassin who was insane and he killed 2 Legionaries.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. It was a really cool fucking scene. Like the best scene in Nemesis by far was the fucking Eversor assassin going ham. Okay. And like now we have an emphasis assassin who died to being looked at by a demon.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. I think the emphasis assassin was
And then she gets
overridden.
basically killed by a brother of Jalen.
Really weird, but also not.
Yeah, I guess he's a triplet.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool idea, right? The idea of Infocyte assassins is they consume so much data that they can predict your next move. And so the idea is she predicted everything up until the point of all their deaths.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but it was OP. But also, if I'm being honest, John French also OP'd the Alpha Legion a little bit in this scenario, I feel like.
He made the soldiers,
Humans.
the
The
humans
human
OP.
Alpha Legion OP. Yeah.
Yeah,
The human
he had
Alpha
fucking 3
Legionnaires.
legionaries and shit.
Yeah, he was. So it was really weird to see like those 2 humans battle it out and just make the Legionnaires around them were just pawns.
Yeah,
so that was a weird
the
scenario.
power scale in this book was weird. We have
It was weird.
humans and assassins better than fucking legionnaires. We have dreadnoughts taking out Bane blades.
Yeah, like that was a weird scene to me. Whenever they showed like 3 Bane blades, I was like, 2 dreadnoughts, you're fucked. Like you're not at all. Like, listen, I've played the tabletop, they're fucked. Like, they're dead.
As someone who plays non-primaris Marines, I agree they're fucked.
They're fucking. I'll tell you what.
But no, they just absorbed the blow and then blew them up.
Yeah, it was a little interesting power show, but you know, if I'm being honest to you, like my kudos go to John French in this book. Like I enjoyed this book thoroughly. I thought this is what was refreshing: the human characters. He wrote human characters so well.
They were really cool.
So well. And it's a relief to have human characters in the 40K universe. So I think he did amazing with it. I enjoyed the fact that we had Iron Warriors, we had Sons of Horus, we had Alpha Legion, we had Iron Hands, we had White Scars, we had Imperial Fist, and then we had humans. We had an Infocyte assassin. Like there were layers and layers to the story.
Also, I don't know where the assassin even came from.
Yeah, I was just chilling out, I guess. I don't know.
Like Macador didn't send her.
I don't know.
Was just there, like, oh shit. Well, I guess I'll be an assassin today.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good story though.
Yeah, I liked it. What are your ratings?
I actually really enjoyed this book. I think John French did a good job with the writing. My biggest disapproval of this book is the fact that halfway through he asked the question, why are they here? The question was answered very well on Portarabo's end, where it's like, I'm here to fight chaos. I thought it was a badass answer. But when they actually got to the weapon, it was weird.
Yeah, let's talk about the weapon real quick.
Yeah.
So the weapon is hidden in the middle of a storm. And they take a big drill into the ground until the drill quits working. So a dreadnought goes into the hole, and it's just this black thing is on the ground, and then a Ghost Portorabo appears, but it's not Portorabo.
It's a demon.
Yeah, it's a fucking demon. It's like, hey, you know, it'd be really fucking cool
Mhm.
if you guys like aligned with us. Like, I can like make you like feel like a thing again. Which are those called obliterators in 40k?
I thought they were obliterators. This is what I really like about this story, and I hope that that was the idea, is the fact that Porter Robbo sent this dreadnought to get a weapon. And when the dreadnought got there, it was demons, and they said, hey, we can make you this powerful thing. And the Iron Warriors, who is represented by the dreadnought, said, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're not going to be slaves to
Well, it's funny
darkness.
too, because he also was like, dude, I watched Fulcrum shove shards up his asshole. Like, I'm not about that life.
Yeah, I literally think the concept of this book is to show that the Iron Warriors are the Traitor Legion that was like, fuck that. And I think, you know, this is what I talked about at the beginning, where you take the input of this book, which is hardly anything, the Iron Warriors show up, and you take the output of this book, which is just the Iron Warriors leave. That's literally the output. But what we get from it is the concept that the Iron Warriors, they're not the other Traitor Legions. You know what I mean? They're not the Emperor's children. They're not the word bearers. They're not the world eaters. They're not the sons of Horus. They are like, I'm here to make a better Imperium. Yeah. And I think what sucks more, what the real tragedy is.
Does the Alpha Legion do something different?
Hmm?
Or, I mean, the Alpha Legion, right? They're kind of have the same goal.
The weird thing is, I don't know what the fucking Alpha Legion want anymore. After
like,
Legion,
I feel like of the two traitors that like make the most sense, I think it's the Alpha Legion and the Iron Warriors.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the fact is like, what did the Alpha Legion actually want? You know what I mean? Just like, are they following Omegon? Are they following Alfarius? Is Alfarius dead yet? In this scenario, is he dead yet? I don't know if Alfarius is dead. Who gives a shit at this point, right? Fair. So it's like, I don't know. I agree. I agree with the stance you're taking. Is like the two legions who make the most sense in the heresy, in my opinion, are the Alpha Legion and the Iron Warriors. And they don't know it. They don't know about each other. They don't know that both of them are trying to make sense of what's going on. So this is a cool book. I like this book. I enjoyed John French's writing. Phenomenal. I think he took what was like dust and made it like silver, in my opinion. Not gold, but silver. Yeah.
Dust to silver.
Dust silver.
What a fucking madman.
Am I drunk ranting right now?
I don't know what the fuck you are, but that was the worst analogy I've ever heard.
Well, you take like dirt, right? And you can make it into
But
something.
He took dust, which is way worse than fucking dirt.
Listen, we just came off of the Crimson King. So I'm on the dust path. But my thing is,
we didn't see dust there though.
We didn't. So my thing is like, he took what could have been shit, because literally, this is what I think. I think they sat down in the writer's room and they said, John, we haven't seen the Iron Warriors in a while. We need you to write a book that shows the Iron Warriors doing something, but then shows their allegiance to Horus. That's all he got. And so he had to like make a book out of it. The writing was really good. The reasoning was good. The outcome was a little dog shit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think this is a 6 out of 10.
I have the exact same rating.
6 out of 10. I think it was like, if they would have made the chaos aspect of it way cooler, way more understandable.
I would have preferred if there was just not even chaos involved.
Yeah. Like, what if there was an actual like Eldar weapon, like a big ass fucking gun,
or a sword or something? Yeah,
that would have worked for me. That would have been so much better.
I would have 100% preferred that.
Yeah, the chaos shit was just like, it made it really weird. That's all it was. Like the tank battles.
Maybe if like a shard of like the Avatar of Cain like came back to life and like
that's fine with me.
Something like
that would be perfect.
Okay with it. Yeah.
The fact that like, and honestly, that was it. That was really it. The rest of the book was written really well. If you would have toned in a little bit on the power levels of the humans, but still made it a human book. And that is where I give John French all the credit. The humanistic characteristics of this book, fucking phenomenal. He did such a good job with that.
Yep, I agree.
He had so many aspects involved. They all worked out. The assassin was a little weird, but still cool to read about.
So yeah. Point to the heresy.
You say one?
It doesn't do anything.
This is the problem. This is what I think we're gonna run into problem-wise, right? It's like Angel Exterminatus was a big importance to the heresy, but not because the Iron Warriors.
No.
It's really because Frolven became a demon primarch.
Yeah.
The first demon primarch, actually.
Yep.
And I think we're gonna run into this situation where we keep putting the Iron Warriors on the back burner, and all of a sudden they're gonna be like the biggest fucking thing. And you're gonna wonder, like, where the fuck did the Iron Warriors come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's totally skippable.
It's very skippable. If you can wrap your head around the fact that the Iron Warriors are just there.
And on this planet that no one gives a shit about or will probably ever mention again.
Not only that, but think about it. Like if you didn't read Angel Exterminatus, you could just be like, the Iron Warriors are there. You don't even have to read this book. You just get both of those books and say the Iron Warriors are just there.
Hell,
you know what I mean?
I think you could skip this, and when Porto Rabo appears in fucking the siege, you're like, sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is what sucks. I don't think that Porto Rabo was, out of all the Primarchs in the entire Horus Heresy so far. Now, I may be proven wrong in the later books as we still have like 8 to go. I do think that Porto Rabo is the Primarch that has been given the least love.
Yeah, he's very underwritten.
Very underwritten. I think
I don't understand.
Even Jagatai's more overwritten than he is.
At least Jagatai has 2 whole books.
Yeah, and he's kind of a badass in those books.
Yeah. I mean,
he barely plays a role.
Shared a book.
Yeah. With the Emperor's Children. He barely even, Porto Rabo barely plays a role in Tallarn, which is not even a book, it's a collection of short stories.
Yep.
And like, it sucks because I love Porto Rabo.
Yeah, I mean, Porto Rabo, if it wasn't for the Corax anthology, Corax is super underwritten.
Corax is a badass though. We know it now.
Manus.
Manus is garbage.
I mean, we have too much Lorgar, in my opinion.
I think we almost have too much Vulcan. He just now appeared.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have too much fucking like the
Lion.
Imperium Secundus was just a lot of those 3 characters.
I did some analysis.
Dorn
is underwritten.
He's only,
and that's what's weird. That's what's so wild. If you think about it, man, what is the Horus? What 2 Primarchs? Actually,
that's what the siege is for. It's actually
is
like,
Porto Rabo and
we
Dorn.
Forgot about these 2 Primarchs. We better write a fuck about them.
It's literally those 2. I actually did some analysis and I was thinking about like the Unremembered Empire storyline. You know what I mean? Like with Gilliman and all of them. It's a third of all of the books we read.
And at the end of what does it amount to?
Yeah. So if you really think about it, right? Unremembered Empire tracks it tracks the Lion, it tracks Gilliman, it tracks Sanguinius, it tracks Vulcan, it tracks Conrad Kurz, and in some parts it even tracks Lorgar and Angron.
Yeah.
So when you think about the Unremembered Empire storyline, you're talking about Descent of Angels, you're talking about Fall of Angels, you're talking about Calth, you're talking about Betrayer, you're talking about the fucking Fear to Tread with Sanguinius and all the blindness, because they end up in the Unremembered Empire at the end of that.
Yep.
You're talking about the Unremembered Empire. We're talking about Pharaohs. We're talking about all the Vulcan novels, which there's fucking 5 of, which is nuts. It's weird to me that no other legion gets as many books as the Salamanders. Salamanders are the most written fucking legion, and they're not even popular. That blows my mind.
Yeah, although I mean, what's an anthology? Vulcan lives as
all about Vulcan.
Yeah.
Deathfire is all about Vulcan. Old Earth is all
Deathfire
about
is too
Vulcan.
much about Vulcan.
Yeah, Old Earth is all about Vulcan.
Yeah.
Born of Flame is an anthology all about him, and they still get Shattered Legions. Those greedy
God.
fuckers. I am just mind blown by the. So I got a friend that's coming into it, and he wants to know the storylines to read about, and I really just kind of want to tell him like read the Armor Empire shit because that's like a half of the fucking heresy, honestly.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's not the best part. That's what's weird about it.
no. I feel like you have to read first 5.
Yeah,
I feel like you should read Legion just because it's so good.
it is really good. I like Legion, but you don't need to.
I
It's
think you
Legion.
do,
Legion is like if you want to know about the Alpha Legion, but like you could jump
but
into like First Heretic real quick,
you could, but
and then go to the
Legion also
Catholics.
brings in our perpetuals, the Cabal. There's I think probably important storylines from Legion that get wrapped up in the siege.
John Grammaticus gets introduced in Legion. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's a good point. I think Legion is a very underrated book.
Plus, you find out who Alpharius and Omegon are. You find
Yeah,
out
the
why they
idea of
turned
it.
traitor. I don't know. I think it's a must-read book.
I think, in my opinion, once you read the first 5, you can really break out into a few different stories.
Yeah.
You can break out to the Armor story, which is the largest arc, really.
Yeah.
Which is like Cal and Lorgar and all that. You could break out into the Scar story, which is a must read, very short.
Yeah.
And then the other story, in my opinion, is you have a Magnus and Lehman Russ.
Yeah.
You've got like 4 stories, 4 books right there. And then you have filters. You got Nemesis, you've got Mechanicum, you've got the one that we hate more than anything. What
Outcast
is it?
Dead.
Outcast Dead.
Yeah, Outcast Dead's super important.
Oh, so important, guys. If you want to get fucked up, read Outcast Dead. Dylan, I am pretty fucking wasted.
No, I can tell.
Is it noticeable?
No, it's
This
noticeable.
this is gonna be embarrassing,
have
isn't it?
left.
This is embarrassing.
It's not nearly as bad as when I was with Horus Hour.
Really? Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
I was
That's
sloppy.
good. I was sloopy. I'm sloopy today.
Yeah, but
Sloopy.
I was like interrupting 2 other people.
Oh, was I
It's just-
interrupting you?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
mean,
there you go.
when it's you and I talking, like it's whatever, but I was interrupting guests.
Oh man, I interrupt all the time. So like, I know we're super over time, but I'm having a good time. I know we're talking about you've got like a kid on the way, so if you need to go, we can roll it.
She's not here until March, so I think I'm okay on
You
time.
got a kid on. You got.
She's coming. She's coming right now.
Get out, quick.
I got some time. She's all right. She's still in there, I think. She's still cooking, babe. All right, we're good.
I know there's a lot of changes to the Warhammer game system. I haven't played in a while, and I'm like, man, you know what I'm about to build? I'm about to say, fuck it. I'm about to jump into it. You know, I'm about to build
What?
Imperial Knights. I think I'm just gonna fucking go
I
all
already
out.
knew that.
I think like I'm building Shadow Sun right now. I've got her half painted already.
Nice.
I'm just gonna finish her up. I'm just gonna like Imperial Knights. I've got like 500 points of Death Guard painted. I'm like, fuck it. Fuck Death Guard. I'm going Imperial Knights.
Dude, they announced the World Leaders Combat Patrol today.
Oh, it looks badass.
Dude, it's good.
Do it.
I tried to decide if I should get 1 or 2.
Is there a special character?
It's a dual kit, so you can either be the character or the generic.
Fucking do 2. Jesus Christ.
That's what I was thinking, because I'll have 40 berserkers at that time. The jackals are kind of whatever, but I think honestly, between the berserkers and the fucking character, that makes up for the price of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I know we're super off topic here. I'm about to get really off topic. You ready?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it.
How upset were you about the Dolphins winning?
Ah, man. I knew it was gonna happen.
I guaranteed. I like if I was looking.
When it was
I
3 to
was
6, I was like, this is it.
I
And
was
then it was
looking
six
at.
and six. I was like, nah, it's not gonna
It
work.
doesn't matter. I was looking at week 8, and I was like, if I had to bet anyone going in, it'd be the Dolphins.
Yeah. And the worst part
Everything
is
had
like
to
they're
stack
going
up.
in with they're playing their fucking playoff game with a third string QB. It's
Yeah.
like, man, my team would have looked more competitive than
You know
that.
what's gonna blow my mind? This is gonna blow my mind more than anything. The fucking Buccaneers are gonna be the Cowboys.
Dude, 100%. Put your fucking mortgage on that shit, guys.
And you know what's nuts? There's a 50-50 chance Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl this year, which is wild.
The Eagles are tough. I don't
The
know if they
Eagles
can
are
beat the
tough,
Eagles,
man.
but
But God damn. Think about it. Like this is a serious situation, right? Eagles, the way they've been this year, phenomenal. But could you like think about Tom Brady in a playoff situation? That's all I'm
he's a
fucking
winner.
saying.
He's a winner.
He's
That's
the
what he does.
fucking winner. It freaks me out. I hate it. All of my fiance's family is fucking Brady
Oh, that's
fans,
why.
Patriot fans. They're Brady and Patriots
Oh, I thought they
fans.
were Eagles fans.
No, her dad is an Eagles fan.
Oh,
The rest of her family are Patriots
well,
fans,
he's the only
and
respectable one.
exactly, and they love Brady. And I'm like, not only did you choose the worst, but you chose the worst of the worst.
This dude kisses his fucking grown kids in the mouth.
On the lips.
Then
There was tongue
there was a
involved.
picture of his like 16-year-old son, like poolside, like in his lap.
Give me a kiss.
I was like, bro, I would never sit on my dad's lap.
And that's what like it's weird to me because I'm like, I hate Tom Brady. I'll tell him that. I'm like, really? You hate Tom Brady? He's like, yeah, so does the rest of the world. And they're like, well, who do you like? And I'm like, Peyton Manning. And they're like, fair. Everyone likes Peyton. Peyton's pretty great.
The thing is, like, I don't even hate Brady as a person, except for what he does with the kids. That kind of worries me. He might be a pedophile.
Do you dislike Manning at all? Give me one thing
No, I like
about
Manning.
Manning.
I think it's hilarious.
Manning's phenomenal.
Absolutely hilarious.
And we're talking about Peyton. Eli's still good. Eli's still good. Don't
Eli
get me
doesn't
wrong.
even exist.
Peyton's a fucking monster, though.
Yeah. All right. We're going to end the podcast. We've lost everyone.
Oh, we're
right,
all
guys.
over there. My bad, guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed our review of Tallarn. As always, hit us up on the Discord. Find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Go to the YouTube. Check us out. Like, subscribe. Listen to our podcast there. Also at the Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Buy some merch. It's great gifts. Hope you guys have a good one.
See ya.